It's Monday, and you know what that means? Yeah! It's Market Watch Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Except I don't know how to flip, and this is not financial advice. We're going to go over the biggest market movers. We're going to go over some flips that I made this week. We're going to go over the flipping investment, the hedge fund, and we're going to look at some fun graphs and talk about the RuneScape economy. It's here for nerds. Okay. Market Watch Mondays, guys. I don't know how to flip. That's not true. I do, but it's just funny. This is not financial advice. You should not take what I say here today and try and apply it to your own flipping because most people are going to lose. If you try and flip on the Grand Exchange, there's a good chance you're going to lose money. Leave it to the professionals like me, okay? Now, this is Flipping Old School. I have to mention it every single Market Watch Monday because I watch every single one of his videos, and I'm only doing this because of him, okay? He makes videos like this once a month. They're much more in-depth, much better edited, and goes over a lot more items. But I can't wait a month. I need my nerd stuff every single week. So we go over it every single week here on the Expected Value channel. But Flipping Old School, that's the OG right there. Now, the Flipping Investment Fund, as you guys know, from the last two episodes of Market Watch Monday, we had a total investment pool of $11.364 billion. That's a lot of cheese. And last week, you guys saw, we had a total profit of 124,111,000 GP. Quite a big number for 2 weeks into the flipping hedge fund. We've done pretty well there. Happy to report that number has gone up this week. Unhappy to report it hasn't gone up by that much. We are now 153 mil in profit. Not bad. Not bad. We've paid a total of $1 billion in tax. If there was no tax on the GE, we'd be up by 1.1 billion GP so far. But we paid $1 billion in tax. We're still up by 153 mil, which means the winners or the investors in the flipping hedge fund have made about a 1.5% return on their investment in a month, which is crazy. It's not been a month yet. We've still got another week. That could get up to 2%. A 25% return on investment annualized. Crazy. That's good numbers. So the flipping hedge fund stays winning. Remember, guys, next week, it's going to be next Monday, the 24th of the 2nd, 2025 at 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That will most likely be the 23rd for the Americans and the Europeans. I'll leave times in the description for each time zone. Also, you can just use Google to figure out when it is. I'll post it in my Discord. Next Monday, we will do Market Watch Monday. And then afterwards, I'll be paying out the returns for the investment, the flipping hedge fund. And then after that, I will be recollecting more investments. We're putting a 50 mil cap this time. So people can't just dump $1 billion and take most of the profits. We're going to get as many people as we can to invest 50 mil. There's no minimum. Well, there is. It's 10 mil minimum, 50 mil maximum. So we'll be taking investments next Monday, the 24th of the 2nd, 2025, Australian time. So that will probably be the 23rd for most other people in the world. But right now, flipping hedge fund up big. Let's go, baby. Biggest winners and losers of this week. The biggest winner for me were the Avantoe ring. Made 14 million GP off the Avantoe ring this week. 7.3 mil off the Amulet of Rancor and 5.3 mil off the Zarite crossbow. Unfortunately, the biggest loser for this week, the Torva platebody. My biggest loser lost more money than my biggest winner gained, which is not a great spot to be in this week. Unfortunately, Torva platebody costing us 15.5 mil in losses. Eldritch Orb, -3. Inquisitor's Armor Set, -1.3 mil. And listen, guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You cannot absolutely under no circumstances win them all. You just have to win most of them. If I lose 15 mil on a Torva platebody and I make 14 mil on an Altor ring and I make 7 mil on an Amulet of Rancor and I lose 3 mil on an Eldritch Orb, I'm in profit. So you just have to win more than you lose. But that brings us into the Market Watch section of Market Watch Mondays, ladies and gents. The Torva platebody saw a big downswing this week. And this is the graph of the last 1 month. We can see it was sitting around 335 to 340 mil for a good week or so here. A long time. And then all of a sudden, it shoots up to 355. Why is it shooting up to 355? Around this time here, around the start of February, a lot of bots were getting banned. And the problem is, number one, they don't stay banned for long. Number two, why are there next bots? That's crazy. That's such an insane bot. And number three, they don't stay banned. They just keep coming back. As the price came up, you can see the price steadily coming back down. Now, I don't think this was all due to the bots coming back. I don't think it started coming back. The reason I think the Torva platebody over the last couple of weeks has gone down is because people figured out you can kill Nex in 6 seconds. Yes, that's right. That is not Photoshop. That is the world record next time, and it is 6 seconds. There have been teams of 80 players, the maximum amount you can have inside of a raid. There have been teams going for the world record for the past couple of weeks and getting anywhere between 6 and 10 second kills very consistently, non-stop. And this ends up with a lot of items coming into the game, which means a lot of Torva platebodies. I think this is the reason the Torva platebodies have come down. The volume is 12,000, which means 6,000 buy and sells. Which is crazy. That is crazy. Supposedly they're taking that away and pulling their records. That is correct. They have already taken this out of the game. It no longer works, and they will be taking the records down from the board, which is it's kind of shit that they're taking it out of the game, but good that they're taking the records away, because if they left the record, then no one would ever be able to beat it, and it would just be silly. So, I don't know why they took it out of the game. I would imagine they took it out of the game because of this. Okay, it's great. We like to have fun, but I would imagine it was removed from the game because we don't want to see Torva prices hit the deck. All right, we want to keep them up there. We want to make it hard to get these items. So it would have become too big of a thing of people killing the minions first and then just speccing next down for them to keep this in the game. So I think personally, it was fun. It was cool to see, but WJagX for taking some action on this and making sure the Torva prices stay on the up and up. Wow, wasn't those next records so crazy, guys? You know what else would be really crazy? If you subscribed to the channel and left me a like. We get like 20,000 views on these videos and like 500 likes. Wouldn't it be crazy if we got like 20,000 this time? That'd be crazy. Next item we need to go over was an item we went over last week. Last week we went over the release of the Giants, the new Giants bosses, and we discussed the fact that it was a mid-game boss. And when mid-game bosses come out of the game, what are a mid-game player's best friend? The Bow of Faradinin. And we saw a big upsurge last week. And this week, we've seen it come back to about where it was before. So, big upsurge. You can see as the update was coming, the price starts going down. Because people invest in items before updates come out and start selling them just before the updates happen. The update happens, the both is good, bang. You see it come up to about 175 mil from that 160. And of course, over the coming weeks, people don't get more money. It's a mid-game boss. They're not making much money. You can see the price comes back down because eventually they've got to get rid of their bofas. So it's been restored. We are back to equilibrium here for the Boa Ferrodinin, 160 mil. Now, we had some big market movers in the last couple of weeks. My good friend Lockie sent me a message and gave me the source. He said he's been scrolling through and having a look at a few items and gave me the source. Big market mover this week, ladies and gentlemen. The Blue Moon chest plates. You can see around the release of the Titans, big boost. Went from 2 mil up to 3.5 mil. Why? Well, it's a set of magic armor that also has strength bonus. So it's really good for the Royal Titans. And then you can see just the other day, another massive spike here, which is quite interesting. I'm not too sure what happened around this spike. There was another news post that did updated stuff for the Royal Titans. So potentially there was something inside that news post which made Blue Moon a lot better. But you can see two big spikes here, and it's kind of resting around 3.5 mil and still sort of going up a little bit as well. It could have something to do with the fact that bots have been banned. There's been a massive, massive, massive sweep of the game on a lot of heavily botted items. And I would imagine that the Moons of Peril is one of those places that has been heavily botted. So it could be a mix of the Royal Titans and the bots getting banned, but the Blue Moon chestplate as well as the Blue Moon tassets have seen a massive rise. Blue Moon tassets going up from 5 mil all the way up to 10 mil. Blue Moon chestplate going from 2 all the way up to 4.5. So more than doubling in price. If you'd invested in these a couple of weeks ago, you would be sitting pretty. You would be laughing. So big movers there. I need to start thinking about the game a little bit more because this one, in hindsight, was a pretty obvious flip. This was a pretty obvious one to get in on. And I, unfortunately, did not get in on it myself. Now, back to the bots being banned. Guys, we saw that Nex has been being camped by a lot of high-level players, as well as bots being sweet. I would imagine a lot of Vorkath bots are being banned at the moment, as well as a lot of high-level players using Dragon Bolts for their next runs. Bang. Huge. Dragon Bolts have gone from 2.2k all the way up to almost 3,000 GP just in the last 2 weeks. So I don't think we need to see any more evidence that Jagex are actually banning bots in this game. It's great to see. And what I personally think is going to happen over the coming weeks is that people are going to start realizing how nice it is to have bots in the economy. Shit is going to start getting expensive, guys. It's going to start hurting. When you got to buy Dragon Bolts, when you got to buy Saradome and Bruise, when you want to craft some green D-hide bodies for your crafting training, it's gonna start hurting. I think people are going to start realizing that having bots around is kind of nice. It's probably bad for the game as a whole, but it's nice for the pocket. You know what I'm saying, guys? I think people are going to start realizing that. Now, while they have been banning bots in a lot of different places, they have not noticed some of the new bot farms that are coming back up. These are not new bot farms. They're bot farms that are rehashing themselves, coming back into the game. And they are either Wilderness Slayer bots or Last Man Standing bots, because we have seen the looting bag note go from 40k up to 70k when the bots have been banned. And guess what? They all came straight back. And now the looting bag note is down to 34,000 GP again. You just can't keep them away, guys. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to be able to keep the bots away. You just... Jagex goes on a big sweep once a year, and then the botters are like, oh, how can we get around this? Let me figure out how we can get around this. They get around it, and all of a sudden the prices are back in the bin. So they're not going to keep bots away. Now is like the time of year, around the time of year when they always do a big sweep. It's like new year, new me for Jagex. They're like, oh, that's it. All right, let's really crack down on bots this year. And then you get 2 months into the year and they just don't give a fuck anymore. So looting bag notes on the way back down. And you know this is a case of botting because, well, the other items are going down as well. The room pouch note. You can see the room pouch note had a big rise. Bots got banned. It went from 3.5 mil up to 6. And then... That's right. It all went back down again. So I think these would be, once again, not financial advice. I'm speaking personally here. This might be a reasonable investment to make. Not now, maybe like in 6 months' time, and then wait for the next bot nuke, and then sell them off for 6 mil a piece. You know what I'm saying? It could be a decent trade. Not for you guys. Don't do it. You will lose money. But for me personally, I'm thinking about this one. Next up, we had another big loser. There was recently an update to the way that run energy works in old school RuneScape. It basically meant that you need a lot less stamina potions. And so stamina potions are on the down. But before we look at those, one item that also became kind of useless, the Ring of Endurance. And we can see after the proposed run energy changes, it's gone down from 12 million GP all the way down to 6. It has lost half of its value because of the way that they have updated how run energy works in old school RuneScape. And don't get me wrong. It's been a welcomed and much needed long time change. But the Ring of Endurance, no longer useful. Absolutely no longer useful. And of course, stamina potions are taking the same dunk. Look at that. Look how much they have lost in value just over the last, what's that? This is the last month, 2 months. This is the 6-month graph for stamina potions. They've gone from 12k down to 7k. So great time to be somebody that wants to buy stamina potions, I guess. But absolutely insane to see such a common item lose half of its value so quickly. But that is the result of RuneScape updates, I believe, guys. Now, a couple more items we're going to look at before we finish up. The Twin Flame Staff, the new item from the Giants bosses, started out. I sold the first one in game. I sold the first one in game for 150 mil. Immediately, it dipped down to like 8. And then I think it got all the way down to about 6. But, wow. As of 4 days ago, I guess people have started thinking, hey, I guess I don't want to kill the boss anymore. But the Twin Flame Staff is actually still quite a decent staff for mid-game players. So people are killing the boss less, which means less staves are coming into the game. And it's still quite useful. So we've seen the Twin Flame Staff come back up to 10 mil, which is a big rise. I guess if you invested in Twin Flame Staffs at 6 mil, you would have made quite a big profit. But interesting to see how things work after an update. After a big fall down, the Twin Flame Staff now going crazy and coming back up to 10 mil and potentially even going to the moon. Who knows how high it could get? Because I think a lot of people have stopped killing the Giants bosses. Now, one more item, guys, I want to look at. This one I don't have an answer for. I'm assuming this has only happened because of, I guess, boss updates. There must have been new bosses that have come out that drop an excess of Avantoe seeds. because 6 months ago, an Avantoe seed was worth 10,000 GP. And today, it's worth 854. Holy shit. This is insane. It has lost 92% of its value in the last 6 months. Now, of course, Avantoes are used to make super energies, which are used to make stamina potions. Sure, that could be a reason. 10,000 to 854. That is a lot of loss. I don't think this is tied to the stamina potions whatsoever. I don't know what bosses were released in the last 6 months that dropped so many Avantoe seeds, but if you had a lot of Avantoe seeds in your bank, all I can say is, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Could be Varlamore, guys. It could be. It could be Huey Codal, but who's killing Huey Codal? Let's be honest. Be honest. Who's killing Huey Codal? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened here. It's one of the great mysteries of the world. It's one of the great mysteries of the world. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we always have to finish Market Watch Mondays by taking a look at the big three, the Scythe, the Twisted Bow, and the Shadow. Last week, we saw the Scythe take a massive, massive uptick because of the release of the Giants bosses. This week, we did see it come back down. However, it has maintained a little higher value. It started 2 weeks ago at, I believe, about 1650. It came all the way up to 1720 and then brought itself back down to 1690. So big uptick here for the Scythe. Big uptick for the Scythe. And it is sitting pretty around 1.68 bill. And it's absolutely on top at the moment in the battle of the big three. The Twisted Bow, the previous most expensive mega rare, currently sat at 1.6 bill. A nice little rise this week, gained about 10 mil GP in value over the course of the week. Someone got really lucky here and bought a T-Bow for 1570. Would love to be that guy. Would love to be that guy. But slowly rising in value, and I think we're going to see the mega rares slowly rise in value up until the release of Varlamore Part 3, when the new Delve boss is released, as I mentioned last week. But the Scythe currently ahead by about 85 mil. And then, of course, the lil bro of the big three, the Tumican Shadow, did manage to gain some value this week. It's gone from 1.206 to 1.212. So 6 mil in value gain this week for the Tumican Shadow. Unfortunately, it is still the lil bro of the big three. And like I said last week, guys, I think if the Scythe is useful at the Delve boss, I think if Scythe is best in slot at the Delve boss, we are going to see for the first time since their release an actual useful weapon in the game go to max cash. I think if either one of these, if the Scythe or the Twisted Bow is useful at the Delve boss, I think we'll see for the first time in 07 history an item that is regularly used by players go to max cash. At which point, you have to wonder, when are they going to make it so we can use platinum tokens on the Grand Exchange? Because having to buy your Twisted Bow from another player for platinum tokens sounds like a recipe for disaster, and I am not talking about the quest for Barrow's gloves. So we will see when the Delve boss comes out, but for now, Scythe on top, Twisted Bow slowly coming up from behind, and Lil Bro, Tumican Shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to look at a couple more slides, but they are my investments. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, unfortunately, if I put what I'm invested in on YouTube, the lowest of the low IQ individuals in the world accuse me, one of the most pussy non-rule breaking RuneScape players of all time, they accuse me of market manipulation if I was to put what I'm invested in on YouTube. So unfortunately, I can't do it. You'll have to come down to the streams if you want to see my investments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.